Welcome to RPF. In this video, we'll discuss about UiPath governance policy in automation ops. This is a very important part when we are working with the hyper automation piece. When we discuss about the automation governance policy, it's always required with the enterprise level, and we have to make sure that policy should be available in our automation activity. So we'll discuss here what is UiPath governance policy, how to create and configure policy, manage policy in Automation Hub, deploy policy at tenant level, deploy policy at group level, and deploy policy at user level. So if you want to understand these points in detail, consider watching this video from start to end of this tutorial. And if you have not yet subscribed this channel, consider subscribing and pressing bell icon for more updates. So first of all, what is UiPath governance policy? UiPath Automation Ops is a centralized web-based platform that enables the configuration and deployment of governance policy for UiPath Studio and UiPath Assistant. Automation Ops is an admin feature available. UiPath Automation Cloud governance policy offers control over various functionalities, ensures that standards are met and that rules are followed. Main feature will be control which package sources are available in the Studio Package Manager, and we can control it from anywhere, from any place, because in automation ops we have the login credential permission where we can do the login from any location and even from different system as well. Enforce organizational deployment standard using workflow analyzer rules. For example, we can determine which applications and URL users are allowed to automate. Enforce studio design and location settings. For example, we can we can require that project pass workflow analysis before being run on published. Manage access to widgets in UiPath Assistant. When we can discuss about different aspects of the governance policy, it's always needed to be there in our UiPath automation ops when we are sharing this with the enterprise level. Governance policy offers control on various systems, as I said, which is a very important part. And when we discuss about automation ops is a flexible and easy to use, which define governance policy for each studio profile like Studio Pro, Studio and Studio X and the assistant. If our organization is already using this file-based governance model for Studio, we can migrate from policies by generating files from the Studio and uploading them into the automation ops. We can also deploy policy at tenant group or user level, and by any combinations thereof, upgrade or downgrade the policies template depending on the product versions installed in our organizations. Automation Ops is a compatible with UiPath Studio later than 2020.10.3 and later and UiPath Assistant 2021.4. When we talk about the different aspects of the governance policy, it's always to have these type of UI. We can see it where we have to just directly go to the cloud.uipath.com. From there, we will find it out. This details or this page will be available here. In the policy sections, we can see a different policy. We can deploy it and configure according to our requirement. So let's jump to the create and configure policy. When we are creating and configuring policies, it's always required to have the login credentials. So let's jump to the UiPath automation ops. Post login into cloud.uipath.com. You'll find it out this sections. From the admin sections, you will find it out automation ops. Here, once you'll click on the policies, you'll find it out add to product policy. You simply click on this and which policy you want to add it. Let's say if I want to add the Studio Pro license policy, I do have to define the name, click on add, and you can give the availability days for how many days this policy will be available. When we are creating a general rule for the creation of the automations governance policy, we have to save this policy from the UiPath Studio. If you have not yet did it, please watch my previous video. I will also include the URL in description tab where I have presented it. I have shown how we can generate governance policy from the UiPath Studio. Post generating, you can save it into any place, and from there you will find it out the section. So yeah, once you will save it, you have to just provide the policy name, then availability in days, then priority. How priority you are setting, you can justify it. When we'll select the policy template, yes. So when we'll click on the create or set the policy name and provide the availability, then priority, we have to define the description about the governance policy. Product settings can be differ from one version to another, and different policy templates are available for different versions. To ensure the settings in your policies match those available in the governed products, configure automation off to use this policy template for the product version and use in our organizations. When a new product version is installed, check if a new policy template version is available and update to it to make sure that policy include all these product settings that can be governed in that version. So here we have to go to the admin and automation ops and then settings. In settings sections, you can find it out different sections. From there, you can add or define different settings. From the setting sections, you can go to the policies, and existing policies are listed in the table. But if we don't have, we can add it as I did it. Now, post that, we can also create the duplicate content if we want to do it. Otherwise, we have to generate the governance policy from the studio and configure the governance policy detail. Policy name is basically defining the editing the policy name. Use a unique name that makes the policy easily distinguishable. Availability days, how long to apply a catch policy when the governed product fails to connect to automation ops. The default value will be 30. We can also increase it. It doesn't matter. Then priority number of that determines the order of precedence. When multiple policies are set at group level or from the same user, the policy with the lowest priority value is applied first. The drop-down list in this priority currently set for existing policy for the same product. Selecting a priority that is currently set for another policy automatically decreases the priority of that policy and all other policy below it by one. Descriptions can define the detail about the policy. Design. In the design section, you can find it out a design tab to configure settings found in home. So in design tab, select the design tab, configure settings found in home, where to govern the settings, select the checkbox next to it. You can find it out govern setting here, enforce analyzer before publish it. We can also keep yes and no. To allow studio users to edit the setting, we can select and allow users to override. This makes the settings from the policy the default but allows users to change it. By default, overriding is studio is not allowed. Save and publish, enforce analyzer before publish, which means select yes to prohibit publishing project with workflow analyzer error. When we are selecting enforce analyzer before run, it means select yes to prohibit running and debugging files or projects with workflow analyzer. When we are selecting analyze RPA XAML files only, it means when we are selecting yes to execute XAML files that test cases for analysis from analysis when running the workflow analyzer for a project. Analyze RPA XAML files only. It means select yes to execute XAML files when the test cases from analysis when running the workflow analyzer for a project. If not selected, both RPA and XAML test cases XAML files are analyzed. Then this setting applies when the analyzer is triggered manually as well as when it is enforced and triggered automatically before running or debugging a project and publishing test cases for project. Enforce check-in before publish, which means select yes to restrict publishing projects added to source control repositories when they have local challenges Activities design panel will give the default language where you can select your specific language like Visual Basic or C Sharp. Create docked annotations. It means it will give you yes or no. Yes, modern for new project. It means when we are selecting yes to enable a modern experience of working with UI automation for new projects with new and improved activities recorders and widget for more information. Slim view for collapsed activity when we are selecting yes to reduce the space collapsed activity take off by enabling a view that only displays the title bar. When we jump to the general setting, in general setting, you will find it out send anonymous UI descriptions, which means select yes to enable the sending of anonymous UI descriptors created using the object report repository. Feature toggling selects the feature toggle tab to configure the following settings that users cannot configure from Studio, where we can do allow users to send feedback. When we are selecting yes, then it means it enables the send feedback form that users can access from the Studio title bar. This option is enabled by default. When we are selecting hide getting started screen, it will give or select to enable the welcome screen with the links to the UiPath Academy and introduction video and tutorials that is displayed when users open Studio. Even if you enable the screen, users can still disable it after it is first displayed. This option is not enabled by default. Manage sources will help you to tap to configure the different sections related to the allow users to add or remove feeds, allow user to enable or disable feeds, and append or orchestrator feeds, which means select whether to automatically enable the orchestrator tenant available if the tenant libraries feed is enabled in orchestrator and orchestrator host feeds in Studio. This option is enabled by default. Configure which package sources are available in Studio is the official one, where we can define add a new feed, click add another, or you can add several other components. You can add it from here. If you want to edit it, you can edit it simply from here. If you want to delete it, you can delete it from this icon. Then coming down to the workflow analyzer will help you to configure which workflow analyzer rules to enable, set the actions and configure parameter. The rules that are enabled by default in each Studio profiles are also enabled by default in the policies for that profile together with their default parameter if applicable. For more information, you can visit to the Studio and Studio X library. Here you'll find it out different sections like allow user to override. If enabled, users are allowed to make changes to workflow analyzer settings. This option is not enabled by default. When we click on the referenced, embedded or referenced, then how to define the settings for workflow analyzer rules and counter in the policy. When we are selecting reference, it means defining the settings using a JSON file configured similarly to the rule config.json file. If we selected this options indicates the full path of the files in the reference rule file box. If we have selected or defined embedded, it means settings using the options to the policy page. This is the default option. Managing the workflow is very much easy. You can select different options or edit it or delete it as per your requirement. If you want to add any other sections, you can add it simply from here. You can also add counter where you can add different sections in the counter as well. Let's jump to the next tab, which is available here, that is locations. You can define different location about your path, project path, publish process URL, publish library URL, publish project templates URL, and workflow analyzer rule locations. This is a very simple enough where you can do several actions. So this is how we can create and perform. Once you are done, simply click on save and your components will be saved here. You can find it out here. Now, if you have multiple sections where you want to make the changes or edit it, if you want to make the duplicate, simply click on this and add the different sections, and this new item will be created or the duplicate item will be created for you. If you want to edit any sections, you can do it at any point of time. Simply click on the pencil icon and do the changes and click on save. Your item will be saved permanently. Now, if you want to delete the sections, you can delete it from here as well. So this is how we can do the changes on any label or make the changes on the governance policy which we have created. Let's understand how we can do or policy deployments. So when we talk about the policy deployment, it's always be there with the different labels like tenant label, group label, or user label. We can deploy policy at tenant, group, and user level for each products. Policies deployed at tenant level are applied to all the users in the tenant. For more granularity, we can apply different policies to specific groups and specific users. Deployment defined at user level override deployments at group level, which is turn override those at tenant level. In addition to the custom policy, we can define in automation ops. Two default deployment options are available for each product, where we can define no policy and inherit. But when we have different sections are available here, we can do it at any point of time. So let's understand how we'll do that different deployment label on different pieces. So when we select on the automation op, we'll find our deployment sections where we can have tenant label. So let me show you how we can justify it or differentiate it in tenant label. In tenant label, you can do it by the RPA developer, like RPA developer, RPA developer pro, citizen developer, and attended user. In this sections, when we select the tenants tab, we can find it out different sections where we can add it according to our requirement. Select the tenant for which to deploy the policy. So let's say if I am deploying this, I have different sections available here: attended user, RPA developer pro, citizen developer. Here we have to provide the policy, no policy, or if we have the policy, we can add it. When we will upload it in the automation ops, you will find it out. This section will be enabled where you can select it for different sections. Let's say I am selecting for the RPA developer. You will find assistant, Studio X, and Studio. When you will click on the RPA developer pro, you will find it out 4 options like assistant, Studio X, Studio, and Studio Pro. Similar way, we have attended users like one option, that is assistant. Now, if you have made the changes, simply click on save and that content will be saved permanently for you. When we want to configure it on the group level, we have to go back to the previous options, and from the deployment sections, you can find it out group level settings. In group level settings, this group which policies have already been deployed are displayed. We can click refresh above the template to refresh this page. If we want to add any group related information, simply we can click that group or add deployment for the group, add the details in here. Once you are done, simply click on save and that component will be saved for you. Let's say group I am adding here as a test. Select this. If you don't have any group, we cannot find it out the name. If you have the group, you can find it out the name. Now on the user label, we can do similar setting like refreshing the page. We can do it from here. If we want to deploy for the user label, simply click on this and you can add the email ID of the user, and that deployment is done for the user level as well, which is very simple enough. Whenever we are doing the deployment on the user level, it is always impacting to the user level, not for the all the user who is present in the group. So this is how we can configure or the deploy the process of government policy in automation cloud or automation ops. So let's recap what we have discussed here. We have discussed here what is UiPath governance policy, how to create and configure the UiPath governance policy in automation ops, then how to manage automation ops governance policy. Then finally, we have discussed about deployment process, which is categorized into 3 parts. One is tenant, second is groups, and third is user. We have seen how we can deploy it in different sections like tenant, groups, and user and which all will impact it. This is all about UiPath governance policy in automation ops. Hope you liked it. If you really enjoyed the session, consider subscribing and sharing within your circle. Thank you for watching.